Five, four, three, two, one. All right, and bam! Look at
Hello.
that. We're going
What's going on,
off
Chris?
and running. Welcome to YouTube. Hope you enjoy your stay. Good enough.
Yes, sir.
Well, uh, everybody, this is the, I think, fourth or fifth episode of the show without a name, where I
Mhm.
have my employer and good buddy Ilaan on to talk because, yeah, man, I like the way he thinks, at least
Oh
so
yeah.
far. Other than the fact that he uses Mac, which I'm not going to
Uh,
hold that against you. But yeah, so it's good, man. I'm glad you wanted to be on, because I've been desperately looking for people.
you
I'm not
found a
gonna lie.
sucker.
I'm not gonna lie.
Hey man, it's all good. I like these kind of people that talk and share their wisdom, and you never know what you're gonna find out. So
I don't know if I go as far as saying wisdom, but
it's something.
but I mean, the thing is like I find we don't talk about things. We don't use critical thinking anymore, you know?
Yeah.
It's like people just they see something and they're either and they just keep on going. They don't stop and go, okay, well, what if or what about or how come? You know?
It's true, but I think most people they prefer not to think. Like they don't ask those questions. I think it's a certain personality type that gets into these, like, why is it like this? Kind of, what I mean? They philosophize a little bit. Most people, not most people, I won't even say most people, but a lot of people, if they pay their bills, they wonder why their kids are annoying and try to figure out, like how to get through the month or, how to make a couple extra bucks or whatever it is. But like, they don't ask like the big questions. It's only like crazy people like you and I that go down, that, what I mean, that are interested, that go down that road. Like,
Well, I find for myself like it's like and I think I've mentioned this to you before and I've said it a lot, is like I figure I'm pretty much at the halfway point. Like
okay,
I've done 40. I probably have, if I'm lucky, 40 more to go. Right?
I disagree, but all right.
I hope it's longer. I hope it's
I
a
mean,
lot longer.
just natural progression of things. You should not even be at your four, because you have to understand another 40 years. What's the technology going to bring in 40 years?
That I'm counting on that. I really am. But
Well, that's what it is, right?
on the same point, I find it motivates me thinking that it could be 40 years, in which case I'm halfway. In which case you
Worst case
better start
scenario.
looking at shit better, man. Look at things differently because you don't know how much of it you're really gonna get to absorb anymore.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I was in my 20s, and I was having my fun, and I realized, like, by the time I become 80, the technology. So like, why am I rushing to get married now? Use my time now and have my 50 years of marriage. When I am going to be like 30 or 40 years old. You know what I mean? I'm banking on the fact that technology is going to get good enough.
Dude, I hope so. There's some really encouraging stuff going on out there. I just the thing that bothers me is like, will I be able to afford it? How generalized will it be when I'm old enough to get that technology?
Oh,
How much is it gonna cost me?
it'll be mainstream for. I think you know, by the time it gets to that point, it's like the the society wants you to be healthy because you're cheaper when you're healthy, and you have to be in the hospital. And plus you're paying taxes, so they want you healthy and paying taxes.
Right, for as
You know what I
long
mean?
as they can.
So as long they're incentivized to keep to make the technology as cheap as possible. Obviously, like, I mean, who knows what's going to bring in 40 years, but like, um, there's going to be like natural preservatives that'll keep us going. I think, like, in the next 5 to 10 years, like, it's moving at such a exponential rate. Hey, the technology.
I know.
You know, who's that? Um, Ray Kurzweil and his um, we're going to reach a certain point where the technology is going to be, we won't be able to keep up with the technology that will be reproducing itself.
Okay, hold on a second, dude. I just lost you. You like literally just disappeared. Just give me
Uh,
one
I
second.
assure you, I'm still here. I'm
just
speaking to you
give,
from the
just give
great
me one
beyond, and I
second
don't
and
even
I'll,
know it.
yeah, right? Oh, what did I do? See? This is how good I am. One of these days, I will get this down.
Dude,
Okay,
you
just
didn't do anything. It wasn't you because you were
it
just
just
sitting
yeah,
there.
I was
Huh?
watching and then all of a sudden you disappeared. I was like, what the hell is happening there? Hang on. You're still gone. What the hell?
I don't
What
know,
I
Mike.
what I do, man? I screwed up. Oh no. Okay, hang on one second. I'm gonna actually pause the recording so people won't have to go through this pain.
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
I heard was that Elon Musk is working on that.
Yeah, right? So, okay, so we're back. Sorry about that, folks. I don't know what happened. Technical difficulties. I can't go through an episode without at least having one technical difficulty.
Yeah, man.
Kind of my thing. Go with it.
Everyone needs a theme.
Right?
Right.
Mine is
There's a
technical
technical difficulty.
difficulties.
You never know what's going to happen.
Right? It makes
Part
it
of the fun.
exciting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so we're good. I don't even remember where we're.
What we're talking about?
No, no, I was so like freaked out because I was looking at you and then all of a sudden a black screen. I was like, oh my god, terror and fear, overwhelming. It's horrible.
We're talking about Ray Kurzweil and his theory. Man, I need a Jamie. Jamie, look up
Yeah,
Ray.
right. This is what I'm trying to do at the same time as we're talking is Jamie's job, right?
Yeah, right?
So
Yeah.
like flipping from screen to screen, I'm trying to do that on the like if you see my hand keeps going like that, well that's
Yeah.
why because I'm reaching over to the mouse to flip screens and stuff.
Yeah, I'm listening. Sure, whatever you're saying.
Right, right. Does it look
Typing
good? Is
away.
everything in
Yeah.
camera?
Looking at porn. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Right?
Oh.
You don't say.
Yeah, definitely need to. Eventually, I hope to have a third person to sit off camera and bring
A third
stuff up.
person. Okay.
Well, there'd be me, the guest, and then
Yeah. I thought maybe you're gonna have a whole team back there.
hey, eventually, dude, I would love that. I would love to have a team of people, not just doing this kind of stuff, doing other independent media. I would love it. But that's to come, right? That's to
Here's
come.
hoping for you, brother.
Thanks, Brent. Thanks. I figure if you put enough time into anything,
Yeah.
you'll get good at it. And if you get good at anything, you can make something of it.
That's the American dream right there.
Too bad I'm in Canada.
Whatever. They're like
I
the
get
North
what you
American
mean.
dream, you
But
know?
no, it's true.
You work towards something and you'll eventually get the fruits of your labor.
exactly.
Whereas
Right?
other places in the world you can work your ass off and like
Get
you'll
nothing.
never progress, you know? Here you can't suffice it, of course. So this is the thing. Suffice it, you manage yourself well. If you manage yourself well, like no excuses, make sure like $1, you save $1 on top of another dollar on top of another dollar. Don't spend your money. You know what I mean? You think outside the box, and eventually it'll grow something, and you'll be able to live off of it. That's my firm belief.
Well, that's it. I see with myself, like I was lucky enough to get into financial services, where I got an extensive education on how money works, how investments work, how banks works, all that stuff.
Mm.
But I was pretty savvy when before I even got involved in that. I was, I think, 27 when I got into financial services, right? But I'd already bought in my first house at that point,
Wow.
right? Well, because I knew
Yeah.
if I could take what I have now and buy something I know that's going to be worth more later, then I should do it now, right? Because if I can do it now, it's going to be worth more than if I do it later, right?
That shit's gonna compound.
Yeah, exactly. Right? Property value always goes up. So,
Yeah.
and I mean, a lot of people, they're not in that situation for whatever reason. But I mean, that's like you said, if you can just put $1, another dollar and another dollar. And yeah,
Yeah.
it seems like it'll take forever. And it does, but the thing is like keep doing it, you see the results. I think that goes with so many things in life that people, just they're not willing to keep doing it and keep doing it and keep
Yeah.
doing it, right?
I
To
mean,
see that big result.
100% of businesses fail because of bad management.
Oh,
Just manage your shit.
definitely.
Like they made the wrong had the wrong outlook. They didn't do the research. They put all their eggs into one basket. Whatever it is, they didn't look at the competition. They're too focused on one thing or another, or
Exactly.
they grew too fast, or a thousand different things. Like, a lot of things they grew too fast. That's a big reason why businesses fail.
Well, I know, and like I find especially like a traditional business isn't going to survive nowadays. You have to be able to e-market yourself. You have to be different than whatever else is out there. I mean, I wouldn't want to start a business nowadays. It would terrify me. Terrify me.
I don't know. I disagree. It's the principles are the principles. You could be selling shit on a shingle, but if you manage yourself properly, if you make sure that you're priced accordingly, and you think outside the box on how to get it to market,
I
and
think that's the
like
big thing there.
you'll be okay. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what it is. Like, business is business. Doesn't matter what you're selling.
that's true
Just,
enough.
I mean, here, like you're saying, e-marketing and stuff like. Okay, fine. So e-market the shit out of your fucking shit on the shingle. Like, it's
Yeah,
wherever the market is, wherever the eyeballs are, that's where you have to put your product. Your product is this YouTube thing. You have to get it in front of people.
yeah, exactly, right? That's why I'm gonna actually, and I fought it forever, but I am going to actually make a Twitter account.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hello.
I
Of
fought it
course.
and I fought it, but the fact of the matter is that there's so much open stuff and so much information that
It's
really
not
I'm
your
missing
problem.
out on.
What's that?
There's so much information that I'm just really missing out on. Like,
By not having a Twitter account?
yeah, for sure, most definitely. And I mean, because to tell you the truth, it wasn't until I really started getting into doing YouTube that I kind of understood what Twitter really was. Right? Because for me, all I really seen or heard about it was, tits and ass and chicks trying to friggin' get followers, and it really didn't interest me. But then when I found out that there's like community of people that are interested in stuff that I am, that are having conversations, and I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know. I was so ignorant to the fact. It's
I think it's more political than anything. Like, if you tits and ass is more on Instagram. You know?
yeah. See, again,
Yeah.
it's like totally new to me. Like I know it's there, but I never really checked it out or went on it or
Yeah.
didn't see a need for it. But now I think there is a need for me to be on that platform in one way, shape, or form.
I mean, you're a social media. Your product is social media, so
Exactly.
for sure.
Exactly. So the
You
more
gotta be
people
you
that
gotta
can
be
see
on
it.
all of them. Like, go be on MySpace too. Like, what does it cost you? Like, cost you nothing.
Yeah. Well, that's it. If it's something that's free and I can upload directly like I do with everything else, there should that I'm not on it, right?
Yeah.
It's just it's kind of actually intimidating.
Yeah,
Um,
I totally believe it. I totally believe it, because
like
you don't want to fuck up. Because like, you hear about these tweets from like 10 years ago that Kevin Hart just made, and now, like, he couldn't host the Oscars
it's
because of a tweet, a
ridiculous.
dumb joke from 10 years ago.
It's ridiculous.
You
I
know,
mean, I that stuff is driving me insane.
but
I
you want to get to that point where people give a shit what you have to say.
enough to go be
You know,
digging through my stuff. Go for sure, right? It's just for me what I find frustrating about it is the fact that the people that are yelling at and calling this stuff out, do they really think that people don't change,
right,
right? And are you looking at it from the proper context?
right,
Like
right, totally.
he's a
And what?
freaking comedian. Of
Right,
course he's gonna say crap that is funny, but also extremely rude or insensitive. Or that's what they do, you know?
right. totally. And I think the tweet probably was a little mean spirited, but at the time, he wasn't the only one. You know what I mean? He's evolved with the zeitgeist of today, so his opinion evolved likewise. So, like, the fact that they're not willing to give him a pass shows a little bit of the sick. I mean, like, it's good that you're sensitive. It's good that the society is becoming more sensitive to people who don't fit within the little square box, who think a little bit differently, and we have to be less judgmental towards them, and open-minded and accepting
Yeah.
of everybody, right?
Yeah.
This is where the society is going in a good way. But the problem is, if you just so happens you don't think exactly like them in a certain way, you are seen like it's flipped. If the role has been reversed. So if you're not that kind of, if you are, let's say, a traditional minded, square kind of,
Yeah.
boys
and girls are boys and girls, and there's
right.
no in between.
If you think like that, you're like, it's like the world needs, people need to have somebody to flail, to, like, it's either going to be the person that's gay or the person that doesn't like gay people. But
right.
One way or another, somebody needs to pay the price. Like, you think like you think that people that were once, I'm losing my vocabulary. I don't know what that's here today.
It's the pressure of the camera, man.
It's probably that. I'm looking at myself in the corner. I'm like, you look like an idiot.
That's great. Trust me, it'll look way better when it's out there.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, it's my point I'm trying to make is that one way or another, like, we're all kind of the same. Like, as much as we're trying to be, like, more elevated and higher thinking, like, we're still needing to shame and to see as somebody as the other. Like, one, you're on this part of the political or social spectrum, or that side. You're both looked at each other as the other, as opposed to saying, "Great, you think like that? Well, go, fuck you." Can I say fuck you?
Yeah.
All right,
of course you can.
All right. So,
listen, dude, I do not have enough freaking people watching to be demonetized. I can't even make money. So curse all you want. It makes no difference, man.
All right. I'll try not to curse too much, but if it comes out, I don't want to stifle it.
Yeah, no, man, for sure.
All right. Anyway, so yeah, like, that's pretty, like, it's just, everyone's a fucking hypocrite. You know what I mean? That's
we
like
all, yeah, man, we all are a little hypocritical for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's funny because I find, even like myself, I think I'm a pretty open guy, right? I really don't care what other people do as long as it doesn't fuck up my shit,
right?
Or the shit of my close surroundings.
Yeah.
Do what you want. Like,
right.
That's kind of my thing. But on the same note, it's because, like you said, the roles can reverse, right? Because, like, I'll be like, if you're all boys are girls and girls are boys, I'll be the first person to be like, dude, why the fuck does it matter? Don't be a dick.
Right. Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like, don't be bitter. Don't be like a bitter person, like, and having to judge another. Like, what do you care? They're living their truth and they're happy and they're not bothering you. Like, why do you care? Like, how is it going to change your life in any way, shape, or form, or your children, or you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to change you at all. Let them be like however they are. And for them, the same thing too. If they get like, I'm saying they, us and them.
Right? I know.
Trying not to do an us and them thing. But, like, for people who let's say were once, victimized, by the greater society, they seem to now be gaining momentum in the zeitgeist, in the mainstream, and they're becoming sort of the mainstream. Not necessarily each individual different victimized group, but as a collective of different groups. If you don't, they have now the power to victimize those that disagree with them, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's what you're seeing. You're seeing them. They're starting to target and go after people now.
Yeah,
As that power group, like you said, not
right.
as individual, but this one big group. And they're like, hey, you can't be like that. Hey, you can't do that. Hey, you can't say that.
Right. And
And
the
it's
whole
like,
idea is like, no, dude, don't judge me. Don't tread on me. Don't judge me. Like, I'm a good person. Doesn't matter if I wear my hair long and wear lipstick, whatever it is. Like, I'm a good person. Like, don't judge me for that. And instead of being like, we can't judge each other because we're all God's creatures, they're now judging people that think that people who wear, like, somebody looked at me and didn't like my plaid shirt, and it's like, good for you. Like, I'm not going to judge you for not liking a person with plaid, for wearing plaid. Like, it doesn't, you know what I
it
mean?
doesn't
That's
make
like,
any
that's
sense.
on them. The person who's doing the judging, that's their, like, you know what I mean? That's their bag. They're the ones who have to deal with their own bitterness towards people who don't like plaid shirts. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly.
I don't have to hate. I don't have to hate on that person for not liking plaid shirts.
No. And I
I know
mean,
it's an arbitrary sort of thing I'm bringing up because I don't have to wear a plaid shirt. I can take off my
hey, wear any shirt, but
somebody who wears lipstick and grows out their hair. They feel they need to do it, like it's part of their
then do it,
soul. You know what
right?
I mean? Like, they've
Yeah.
sacrificed a lot in order to have that sort of reality for themselves, right? So
Exactly.
I'm sensitive to that. I'm not gonna like, um, I'm not gonna. I guess it's a little bit of a shallow comparison, somebody wearing a plaid shirt. But the idea is like, don't be a bitter son of a bitch, like,
Yeah.
be
And I
cool.
find there's a lot of those out there.
I know.
And I don't
And
understand why.
and you're not even on Twitter. Like, on Twitter, it's just like everyone's gross. Like, everyone has to judge everyone. Like, it's just they hate. I'm on Facebook too. Like, I'm in certain communities on Facebook, and everybody's, if you don't think exactly like them, they judge you in such a harsh, bitter way. Like, it's so gross. Like, having to listen to people's opinions. I know we're sharing opinions right now. We're hoping people will watch us for sharing our opinion and they find it somewhat interesting. But like, I've seen, just like, if I'm grossed out by people's opinions. Does that make sense to you? Like, do you ever see that? Like, there's a hot topic will come out, and then people, you'll look through the comments and what people have to say about it, and just like, I want to take my phone and throw it against the wall. Like, I can't believe people are so ugly.
I know. And I think part of the reason that they're like that is because they're on another device or another phone or what have you, and there's no one there to say, "Hey, don't be a dick." And when you see "don't be a dick" come up in writing, it's like, who cares,
Yeah, that's it. I'm changing my Facebook name to "Don't be a dick."
Right?
Just, I'm just gonna
Exactly.
put my name everywhere, just like under every reply to everybody's comment. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. Don't be a
Don't be a
dick.
dick, right? Like, how hard is that?
That's
Like,
gonna be my new religion, dude. Don't be a dick.
like,
Yeah,
don't be a dick.
yeah.
I'm gonna get some shirts made up. It'll be like one of the first merch I put out for my
Right.
channel now. Don't be a dick, And then have like a picture of like a detective.
Okay.
Don't be a dick.
I was thinking something a little more phallic with an X around.
Yeah, but then people are gonna be like, oh,
Yeah, yeah.
and be
Yeah,
like,
you're
you
right.
get it. Don't be a dick. It's a
Yeah,
detective, but you know what I mean.
yeah. Or picture of Richard Nixon.
Yeah, there you go. Don't be a
Yeah.
dick.
But
And
then
have
then
friggin'
that gets politicized, and like,
Yeah,
Richard Nixon was the greatest president of the United States, and blah 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 blah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, hey, you're entitled to your own opinion. I don't
yeah.
have to live there, so
Right, exactly. I don't give a shit.
right? Oh man, the whole friggin' I'm so glad I don't live in the States. Not that like Canada's 100% better. Our friggin' government's just as messed up. It's just messed up in different ways.
Yeah, yeah,
I try not to pay too much attention to a lot of the blah 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 that gets people upset because that's governments, man. That's how they work. Like,
totally, totally
like,
agree.
you can't. Oh, so and so did what and so McCall, and it's like, really? And you're surprised? Oh, this one paid that one off to get that. Yeah, that's how the global economy works. Maybe you don't like look at the rest of the world and how they work. They
Yeah,
don't work like us, man. You know, they work on extra cash here and there.
yeah.
So if we want to be playing in that world, we
You
gotta
have.
freaking play by those rules, man. Don't be upset,
I
you
totally agree.
know, because
Okay, I'm
it.
gonna give you like I'm gonna drop like a little hot topic here, right? A little
All
bomb
right,
here, right? All
all
right.
right, all right.
So Trump, right? So he's a moron, right? He's an idiot, right? But he's probably not a good role model for being the leader of the free world, right? People are just like, what the fuck? How did? But like, I don't think he's as dumb as he looks,
Oh, well, you
right?
can't
The
be and make
stupid
that
shit
much money.
he says it on purpose because he knows exactly the reaction he's gonna get, and he's looking for that reaction. He's like, he's totally the puppet master, and everybody in the media is totally falling for it. This thing with this, like, Russia collusion. It turns out that there's no Russia collusion.
Yep,
He's
exactly.
he's like he pulls down his pants and walks around showing his funds, and it doesn't give it
Yep,
doesn't give a shit who's seeing it. He's
exactly.
so
But I mean, that
I don't
appeals to
necessarily
a
like
lot.
him. What's that?
That appeals to a lot of people.
Okay, the thing I like, that's not what I like about it, but and sure, there's a lot of bullshit with him. Like, it's 99.99% bullshit, but he speaks the language of the world, like you were just talking about. He
Yeah,
speaks the language of ruthlessness. He's a ruthless motherfucker. Ruthless. You know what I
yeah.
mean? He doesn't give a shit. Like, your morality and your, what you feel is right and not right. He's operating on another plane over, like, right and wrong. It's like, what can I get for my best interests, and what do I have to compromise in order to get my interests? That's
Is
it.
it
It has
worth it?
nothing to do with morality and what's right and wrong. It's when
Yep.
on that level, especially, like, nobody operates like, there's no name me a leader that operates on this, like, right. Even fucking Mr. Why is your cabinet 66% women? Oh, because it's 2016. Mr. Justin Trudeau, right? His morality, and he's a good guy, like, he goes and,
He's so
to
far
India,
off to
and
the
he
other
wears, like,
side.
the Indian garb, to be all respectful. And it's like, awesome. You're respecting other, and you're making a show of how you're respecting all these other cultures, and that's great. But even him, who's Mr., holier than everybody, he got caught with
Yeah,
trying to pay off that, what's it,
yeah, yep.
SC Lagavulin.
Legoland. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, right? In Quebec
You know what
there,
I
for
mean?
sure. But I
Even
mean,
he does that shit. Everybody does that
it
shit.
has to like I was saying,
Everybody does
like
that shit.
that's the way the rest of the world works.
Yeah. So then
And
who?
people tend not to like realize that like, okay, yeah, here we've got these commerce laws and rules and regulations. We trade with certain countries that follow some of those laws and rules and regulations. But
Yeah.
the other big ones, like, I don't know, China, they don't
Right.
give a fuck. They
Yeah.
don't care about how we do business, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They're gonna do it their way, and if you want to fucking play ball with them, you
Yep.
better listen and do it the way they want, or they can go fuck yourself. And
Yeah.
that's
Or have something in your hand that they want. You
yeah,
have something in your hand that they want. They have something in their hands that you want. You figure out a way to give it to each other, and that's it. There's nothing to do it. I mean, okay, now that I said all that, you want to have a base level of, what's the word I'm looking? Integrity. You want to have integrity, right?
yeah,
Integrity does make things, or else it really is chaos, right? Like, you go to third world countries and everything is a bribe, everything is payoff, and then you go and try and drive through traffic, and you can't even drive through the fucking streets because it's so chaotic, right?
yeah,
So integrity, order, rules of engagement, these are all good things, and they actually, in the long run, are more efficient ways of governing and making a society, right? But at the same time, like, you can't be too naive. You can't be too high-minded, especially in politics is dirty.
oh
It's a
yeah,
dirty business. Like, And he's just like he just shows the dirt. He's just like, yeah, it's a dirt. He doesn't have that soft touch of being able to, you know, Obama. That's what Obama was good at. Obama knew the game, you know. So he said one thing to the public, and he did what he had to do behind.
Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean? So like he got the media, you know, on his back and, you know, behind him. And Trump's like, the media is a piece of shit. The fuck the media. I give a shit about the
fucking
media.
fake
you know?
news. Everything's fake fucking news.
Everything
News.
is fake fucking news.
Fake
yeah,
news.
Dude,
You know? Yeah.
for 2 years.
That's
Here's
genius.
Like, collusion.
It was genius.
What?
It was genius. It was genius.
I
mean, it was like anything that he didn't like, fake news. That's fake news.
Right. It's like, fuck you.
Fake news.
Yeah? What are you going to do about it?
CNN,
He's lying
fake
to people
news.
in their face. They're
Right?
like, we love your lies.
Yeah,
They're
I know.
awesome.
It's like you can catch him in a lie, and he's like,
Right.
no, that's fake news. But
It's
it's
so
true.
funny.
Like,
Right?
It's
At least
great.
for the sheer entertainment value, this guy's awesome.
right? And I mean,
Piece of
if you
shit.
look at the United States, they're
Yeah.
really not doing that bad with him at the helm
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
on a major level. Like things aren't bad for them there because of it. I thought it would have been
it's
a lot
hard
crazier.
it's hard. I don't know. Well, on that specific thing, for me, it's hard to judge because you don't know. Like, you know, it's a big ship, right? So you turn the steering wheel. By the time it actually makes its circle, it takes a long time, right?
Yeah.
So who knows what the real effects of
Are
his
gonna be
presidency
afterwards.
on the economy and everything else is going to be. For one thing, he's not doing a good job. He is quite divisive, and people are feeling like, you know, like minority people are feeling like vulnerable, more extra vulnerable now than they ever did. I think some of it has to do with the media is what's the word I'm looking for? Kowtowing to that sort of
Yeah.
that sort of
Playing on it.
distraction, like, you know. But there's something there for sure. Like, people are scared, right? And he's not doing really anything to reassure people that, like, no, one person, one vote, everyone's the same. Like, I got your backs, everybody. You know, I'm not sure if he's doing enough, but I think but at the same time, it's like survival of the fittest, baby. You know,
Right?
if you don't make it, then fuck you. You know. So, but you know,
Well, that's it. Well, it'll be interesting to see if he hangs around for another term. We'll have to wait and
You might.
wait and see.
was
I
listening-
wouldn't, you know, after him getting in the first time, I wouldn't be surprised at all. At
Nope.
all.
Nope.
He knows how to play things enough.
Yeah.
It could be this close, but I could still see him doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
Dude, why not? If it could happen the first time, fucking
It could
Donald
happen
Trump,
again.
Donald
right?
Trump, the president. Imagine like you were in a coma, right? 5 years ago. 5 years ago, you were in a coma, and you woke up today, and you looked at the news, you looked on CNN, you saw
Oh my
President
God.
Donald Trump on the bottom. You'd be like, you'd have a fucking heart attack. You'd
What?
be like,
This is a joke, right? This is you knocked
Right?
me out. Knocked
Like,
me out.
it's
This is all a
surreal.
scam. This is one of those TV shows, right?
Right, exactly. Isn't April 1st?
Yeah, right. Checking
Yeah.
around. Sure, right? Unbelievable. Like, and what's funny is like how the Simpsons called it. Whoa, hello, are you there? Oh no. All right, we're back again. Oh my God, gotta love that. My internet connected down. So, but I was saying how the Simpsons called Trump becoming president.
Right, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
What's that about? A friggin' cartoon. Something from a cartoon 15 years ago.
Because they thought it was funny. They thought it was
Right?
satire. It's like, there's no way.
I know.
Like, let's just make a joke because it's really funny. Wow.
I know. Isn't that hilarious?
Truth is stranger than fiction, man. There you go. Truth is
I
stranger.
know. Exactly. You can't write it. It writes itself.
Totally does. know. It's funny. Like, America is responsible for much of the content of the world, or, you know, like the narrative content of the world, right?
Exactly.
Like, the rest of the world shares American storytelling, you know what I
Yep.
mean, and American ideals and stuff like that, and slowly but surely, like, things that you would only see in a movie that at one point are happening, like 9/11. I'll never
Right.
forget. It was like, you know how, I'll tell you my 9/11 story, right?
Okay, cool.
All right.
I'll tell you mine next.
my 9/11 story is this. I was listening. I was in college, and I had to wake up early to. We just moved in, right? It was September, and we just moved into like my new apartment, and we were getting the cable guy that morning. The cable guy was coming, so I had to wake up early to get the cable. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. It was like fuck waking up at 8, but whatever. And my alarm was set to Howard Stern.
Right.
Did you ever listen to Howard Stern?
Oh yeah. Loved them.
Howard Stern's the shit.
Every morning.
So, right. And so I woke up to Howard Stern talking about a plane just hit one of the towers. I'm like, okay, that's not that funny, dude. You know, I'm thinking like there's no way. Like I thought it was a total spoof. I didn't think it was happening. And then all of a sudden, 20 minutes, 10 minutes later, at the door is like boom, boom, boom. It's the dude, and the guy was like, "Did you hear what happened?" I was like, "You telling me that shit was real?" He's like, "I'm fucking beside myself, man. I'm going home after this. I'm gonna set you up." So he set up the TV, and I got to see on the TV after the towers fell.
Yeah.
But like, it was surreal. Like it was straight out of a movie. Like this was totally out of a movie. Like stuff that happens in the States, it's like worthy of Hollywood. Like it's crazy. Like that shit doesn't happen here in Canada. We don't have those kind of stories.
It's disappeared on me again.
Again? Damn it. Can you hear me at least?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Keep going with your story. I'll bring you back on.
All right. You don't have to fucking see me anyway. What am I doing? I'm not doing anything special.
Oh, sure. Now you do special stuff.
Start taking out my clothes.
Hey, now.
No.
Now that will get me banned from YouTube.
This is a PG-13 environment.
Well, yeah, 16 probably.
All right, PG-16. 13-year-olds will find this boring shit.
Yeah, more than likely. Although my daughter watches stuff and she thinks it's funny as hell, so... And people get to look at me. So you talk, and I'm going to try to do this quick.
Let them look at you.
Yeah.
All right. So, I don't know. That's it. You know what? One thing I was thinking about, I'm going to go back onto this point about people needing a pound of flesh. They need to sacrifice the other. There's a need out there to gather behind your people and not just big up your side, but to tear down the other side. Oh. It's like this evil, sort of bitter, it drives me crazy.
It's tribalism.
People, total tribalism.
Yeah,
but
it's ingrained in us.
Okay, fine. There's a way to be tribal and not be
an asshole.
I feel.
Or a dick.
An asshole, right.
Not be a dick.
Right, don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Exactly.
There's got to be a way to okay, fine. I understand. I like my tribe. I do. We have good barbecues. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I can see that the next guy's tribe and be like, yo, that guy's got good barbecues too. But I like my barbecues, and once in a while, I like to go to my buddy's house and have one of his barbecue. Have some of his chicken with those, weird ass spices, but it's good.
Exactly.
But it doesn't mean I have to sit here and dissect whether my barbecue is better than his barbecue. His barbecue is awesome. He grew up with his barbecue. Of course he's going to love his barbecue more than... Doesn't mean objectively my barbecue is better than his barbecue. Chill out with the comparison, it's not a competition.
I know.
Enjoy your barbecue. Appreciate your barbecue. And also appreciate the fact that there's billions of barbecues all over the world.
Yeah. No, exactly. Exactly. Yeah. It's weird how once and I truly do try nowadays to not have things set in stone in my head.
Yeah.
Because once you have something I know 100%, that's it. You've drawn that line. Right?
True.
And anybody else doesn't agree 100% is on the other side of that line.
Yeah. You made a box and now you have to live in it.
Yeah. Right? And I try not to, unless it's something scientific, and even then you never really know, right? But I try to keep my mind open, because it's what if I am wrong? Then I was running around the whole time flapping my fucking mouth on the wrong side.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, like, but you have to also be, you have to be willing to be wrong, right? Like, you do have to, like, I don't know, from my perspective, right? I hate saying you have to, because, like, you don't got to do shit. I have
Exactly.
to. I
Yeah.
have to. I feel like I have to uh, have an opinion. You know what I mean? Like, put a stake down in the ground. Like, be built on a solid foundation, as long as it's not hateful to anyone else.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I like weird shit. So if you like normal, boring shit, good for you.
You know, I hear you. Yeah, for sure, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
the way I kind of look at it is you know, until you can prove me wrong, I'm just gonna keep doing it the way I'm doing it. If you can show me a better way
Yeah.
that's logical, all right, I'm down with that. But
Yeah.
if you can't, then I'm gonna keep going with what I got. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
because I mean,
Yeah.
other words is
Yeah.
just
True.
like be
And good for you,
open.
man.
You
You
know,
know.
do it, but be open. You know, if you are wrong, then be like,
Yes.
hey, look it, I was wrong. Change track. You know, and keep
Right.
moving. But I
True.
find
And
people are too
this way also
worried.
you're also like you're if you're not as committed, then you'll be open to maybe seeing the light, right? Because that's a problem. Like we get our egos involved,
Big time.
and it's like you're gonna go down with that ship,
Oh
no
yeah.
matter what, because your ego is now, you've now invested yourself into something. It's a fine line, like, where do you? I'm saying that I'm speaking out of both ends here, because like I'm saying, yeah, you got to clean your steak and stick to it, but at the same time, you have to be open and flexible to ideas.
Well,
I
let's
think
say,
like and this is why people like you and I are sitting here right now having this conversation, and 6.4 million other people that are watching it right now are we are all like-minded. No one's watching this. I have a feeling no one's watching this. We're like, man, those guys don't know shit. They're like, yes, I agree. Like
yeah,
power, like
yeah,
because we have more flexible minds, and on top of that, we're interested in ideas. We're interested in
yeah,
what makes the world a better place, as opposed to people like, I pay my bills. I try to keep out the noise from everybody, and that's it. And go
yep,
about my business. That's probably like most of the world's like that. But the 6.5 million of us, we're like, no. Like, how can we make the world a better place for everybody? Where are we
yeah,
going with this?
right.
Right.
The
Why do we have construction on the 401 for the last 5 fucking years in the same spot? No one's asking these questions.
I
Why is no one
know.
asking about the
Hello.
401? 5
What's up with
years in
this?
like the 3 kilometer area, it's been construction. It's driving me crazy, and no one's talking about it. Why
I
is
don't
that?
know. I don't know.
You're just like, oh,
I think,
just gotta get home. Just gotta go home.
yeah, right. Well,
Like,
it's like you said. I mean, I find a lot of people just kind of put their blinders on.
yeah,
And as long as they can make the money, enough money to keep themselves happy, whatever level that is, might be more for some people. They want their boats and their vacations, and some people it might be just enough that their bills are paid and everyone's happy in the home, and that's all. That's it. They don't want any more. They don't want to look at
yeah,
anymore. They don't want to hear about anymore. As long as they
true.
can stay there until they die, they're happy. And to me, that seems like insanity, right?
But I'm jealous, man. I'd love to be that. I'd love to turn off the mind and not have to think about that, this like esoteric shit that's not going to make me a dollar.
I don't know. I mean, I've always, I don't want to
Just,
sound weird, mean spirited, but I've kind of pitied people that are like that.
all right. Well, at least you're sympathetic or
Well,
empathetic
because
towards them. But
it's because like I said, like I can't picture like I can't picture a world where every day there isn't something different to explore or find out about or learn about or it, to me, if I just had to do the same thing every day, I think I'd shoot myself.
Okay, right, and that's you. But
Yeah, and yeah, exactly. And there's lots of
so then,
people.
but if they're not even curious and not if they're not even questioning, so then why do you feel sorry for them? I'm envious of them because they don't give a shit. They don't ask these questions. They don't, they don't look at like, oh, things could be better. They're like, this is the way it is. Like, I'm just gonna go until I die. And also, I hate to say this is not gonna sound very equitable, but the world needs the sheeple. Like, you need to have the people that just
True.
do the thing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Don't ask too many questions. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You need, in order for things to progress, like, you need people. I need you to take this fucking tool and put it to here and turn it and do that times 1,000 every day for 7 days a week until you die.
To me,
And
that is hell
some
on earth.
people
But yes,
will do
right.
it. They'll
Yeah.
do it, man. They're gonna sit there all
I
day
do.
long.
I guess. I guess I definitely understand what you're saying, like how you kind of envy them, because I couldn't fathom the ability to actually do that. And yeah, if someone who can do that and they're okay with it, then yeah, I can definitely see how there's some envy there, because I couldn't. If I was forced to be put in that situation, it would be a life of hell.
Yes, yeah. That's why. Like, that's kind of the way why my path went the way it did, and went into like the last thing I ever wanted was to have to have a desk job. A 9 to 5
Yep.
office job was like the worst thing I could. Where you're like, where it's just you against the clock. You know what I mean? Just trying
Right.
to get out of there. You get there at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're like, okay,
8 hours. I can do this.
yeah, I can do this, or I can't do this. Or like, oh, fuck me, how am I going to do this? And that's your day. Your day is just you against that fucking clock. That's like, I could never. That's why, like, I like my job where I'm out on the. Even though I don't like the hours very much, but I like being out there and being on the road, and I kind of have my own time. And if I want to stop for lunch or I want to stop and talk to my customer or to a buddy, I can do that. Um, and fresh air and just moving.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing a job where I'm sitting at it. My friends, like, they can't imagine another way. Like,
Yeah.
that's my job. Like, they don't. I have a lot of friends that are like that, and like, I mean, you could say there's there's the privilege of having that option, and some people don't have the privilege of that option. All right, I know people who come from privilege and who don't come from privilege, and that's not the privilege is not really part of the equation. It's just like your personality type. Are you able to do mind-numbing things, or or you aren't, like certain. I have certain friends, like, they never ask those questions. They want to drink and make jokes and have jokes and stuff like that and do fun things, but they don't ask those questions about life and
Yeah,
about
man.
the world and where they place in the world and all these crazy esoteric things that we're now kind of talking about, right?
Yeah.
They
No.
don't. It's like
And I
they
find
don't
that
care.
I find that the exact same way. Like when I talk about things, and I mean, you've been there when people have said, "Man, you sound crazy,"
Yeah, yeah,
right? Like, and it's like, but the thing is it only sounds crazy because you don't stop and think about it.
yeah. Right.
You know,
Yeah, they
you
don't want to
don't
think about it.
stop and just look and go, "Wait a minute,
Yeah.
oh shit."
Maybe, like, they don't feel like they have they're not, the difference between us and them is, like, we don't give a shit. We will ask a question no matter what, even
Yeah.
though, like, they're like, oh, I'm not smart enough to ask those questions. We're like, well, shit, I'm not smart enough to ask these questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway
Well, exactly.
because I don't have a choice.
One of the things I get a lot is, when I ask people, and if they're nice enough to reject me, because usually I just get ghosted, right? When I there's just like no response whatsoever, which is fine, whatever. But I usually get a lot of like, well, I don't know about anything.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. And it's like I try to tell them, like, you don't have to know about anything to have a conversation. Maybe I know a little bit, maybe you know a little bit, and we talk about it. Maybe you know a piece
Yeah.
I don't know, or vice versa, and maybe we're
Yeah.
both fucking wrong, okay? And someone
Right.
else will be like, "Hey, you're wrong." But at least the conversation starts to build. And once that
True.
happens, then people will learn.
True. True. Here's the thing. Like, I listen to these podcasts, right? And they're eye opening. But what I think would be more interesting, what you should have, maybe what you could do, to stick out from the masses, from the competition here,
Oh, and
is
there's
have
lots of
people.
it.
I know, but have two people on with opposing opinions, because you always hear, like, I always hear it from one side or the other, but never people who have one idea and the other person has the opposite idea, and they're both of them are very smart and eloquent and get their points across, but you never hear them, go back and forth with each other. Like, this guy will talk to this guy, or he'll talk to that guy, but he'll never, like, talk to them together. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it's in having the opposing views where you really get to learn something.
Yeah. No, and
Like, it's
for
it's
sure.
good to have people that don't agree with each other on certain things,
I find
and
when I do watch stuff that is like that, of two sides, I usually find a lot of points on both sides that I will agree with. It's very
yeah,
rare that I'm 100% on one person's side, right? I can understand where one person is like, yes, but this works like that, And I think we need to have that to encourage that open thought. You know what I mean? You have to
yeah,
see, like I said, you have to see the other side before you can really say that your side is right or wrong.
yeah,
You know?
absolutely. You can't be afraid of the other side. You know,
Well, that's the
steel
big
man.
thing.
That's a steel man argument, right? That's the best thing, right? Like, not straw man, but steel man, where, like, you take the best argument from the other side, from what you think is the best argument for the other side, and then come up with a better argument. At least you're giving the other side. You're not making the other side seem like they're stupid, because
Yeah,
I hate that when certain people who are invested in one camp, they'll they'll make arguments against the dumbest arguments of the opposing camp.
it's
It's
easy,
like,
right?
well,
Easy pickings.
yeah, it's like, I could have done that too, But, like, when you take their best arguments and you're still resolute in your side, then it's like, well, at least I can respect that opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. No, I hear
That's what
that.
you should do.
Here's the thing. I would do that plus a million other things. I just need more people, right? Once I have the people, I
Yeah,
mean, that's the
yeah,
thing, right? So it's
yeah.
like anything. Like it's weird because when I first started, I thought I knew it wasn't going to be easy. I knew I wasn't going to, have a bunch of people watching me. I mean, I might be bald, but I'm no Joe Rogan. Okay. So, but
He's good,
I,
man. That
he,
fucking guy,
well,
he's good.
I love Joe, and the reason I do is because he is willing to say, okay, am I
That's
right?
no,
Am I wrong? I might be right. This is what I
right,
think. And if you can show him a
right,
better way, be like, okay, that makes sense. I get it. Right? He's
right.
not feet in the ground when he's talking to people, which I like.
Yeah,
But what I also like is if you're wrong, he'll call you on it.
right.
He'll be
Yeah,
like, no,
yeah.
wait a minute, that's
What?
not right. You know,
Yeah.
which is great. My thing is I'm nowhere as smart as Joe Rogan. Nowhere nearly as smart as
I
he
think
is.
I don't know.
But
He's so
I,
prolific, right? Like,
I,
he does 3 or 4 of these a week, I think, right?
yeah,
Like,
something
he
like
does three
that.
or four
Yep,
with 3-hour conversations with extremely intelligent, like, people at the top of their game, at the top of,
I
whatever, of
know.
their field. Where does he have the time to do the research in order to?
I don't know. Like I said, like it's not just him. Like, see, that's the big thing. Like
He
that's
probably
why I
does
say
have a
I
team,
wanna
right?
I
Like, of
wanna
people
of course
asking
he does,
questions.
right? He's gonna
Yeah,
have either that or Jamie's the man and he takes care of most of
yeah,
whatever, right? He's probably has another assistant or Jamie. I don't know what the situation behind the scenes is.
yeah.
I mean, he might even do a
Probably
good chunk
something.
of it himself. But if you notice, he's like when he says things, he's like, we we reached out to so and so. So
Yeah,
I'm assuming by when he's saying we, he's
we.
not
Yeah,
specifically meaning him, but
yeah.
someone in his camp, right?
I mean, I
That'll
think
take
he's
care of it.
making a shit ton of money off of this. That
You know, I
boy.
mean, he is the right person to be doing what he's doing. You
Yeah,
couldn't find a better fit for that style. I mean, he was definitely one of the motivating factors for me to do this.
Yeah.
and start a YouTube channel. I mean, there was a lot of them, but when I seen that, and I was just like, what an amazing way to learn.
Yeah.
You know, that was it for me. I was like, if I could sit down and talk to people and just learn that way, and other people can watch it and learn, what an amazing thing. And that was like my real main idea. That's why, like, when people are like, what should we talk about? Or I'm like, it doesn't really matter, right? Especially now because no one watches my shit. But eventually I hope they will. And so like it doesn't matter because what we talk about, even in 5 years, someone might watch it and be like, hey, they're kind of right about you shouldn't pick just one camp and we should keep an open mind. You never know who will watch that and pick it up. I mean, and be like, hey, I never thought of things that way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it's at for me. It's just, you know, I always say I started it selfishly. I did it so I could learn, and the easiest way that I learn is by talking to people. I can read books and stuff, but if I read a book, I got to read it 2, 3 times before it gets in there,
Yeah.
right? But if I talk to someone, have a conversation with them, I usually
You can
remember
ask
that
questions
conversation
and you can
exactly,
get people to like, yeah, I agree.
right? So that's kind of my thing, but yeah, I could only inspire to have something that level like he has where I can't wait to the day I can get a couple teachers on, or even a doctor, or I hopefully next month I'll have something set up with a gentleman who owns a gym, and he's a professional weightlifter,
Great
right?
idea.
Yeah,
That's
so I
great.
mean I want to have him on, and I mean, so as I go and people are starting to slowly say,
Sorry,
yeah,
let's get
I'll
a phone call.
I'll oh well, come on.
Right.
But yeah, so I'm hoping as I progress, I'll get more and more people, and they'll be bigger and different, backgrounds and professional backgrounds and so on, and it'll grow that way. But I mean, at first, it's going to be conversations like this, and I think that's as cool as the other stuff is. I think this is the ground, this is where I'm going to learn the most.
Yeah. Where you break your teeth. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, man.
So,
Sure.
and getting through all the technical difficulties and the learning of the software and all the crap that's going on.
Yeah.
Um, but it's awesome. It's exciting. And I really, really, and I mean, realistically, in a way, you're a lot to thank for that. I mean, just by giving me employment and allowing, because the position that I have with you, with the minimal amount of hours that I work, which is rare, you don't find too many jobs that are like, a few hours a day,
Yeah.
right? Gives me the ability to do this and spend my time learning and researching, so on and so forth.
And
So
it's
thank you.
it works. Hey, man. My pleasure. I mean, that's it's hard to find someone like you. Like, it's true. Like, I had a guy who worked for me for 5 years, and it was kind of like it wasn't exactly full time, but it was almost full time
Right.
kind of hours and pay. And before him, I never had a problem finding people, and I put a second truck on the road, thinking that I'll find people because I always did. There was never a problem, and then he quit, and it was like, well, I'll find somebody, no, not a problem. And for finding people, it's like the hardest thing to do because they have to because of the hours that they are I'm just looking for a few hours in the morning, 5 days a week, Saturday included. It's it's not the easiest thing. It's got to be somebody like you who has something in the afternoon or who works the night shift and just wants to start something in the at the end of their night shift. They want to do something, make a couple extra bucks in the
Yeah.
morning, kind of thing, or whatever it is. But hey, if it works great for you, it works great for me. You're doing a great job. You really are.
Not the hardest, my friend.
No. You know what? I'm jealous of you, bro. I'm jealous of you because I love it. I like merchandising the product. I like at the end of
Yeah,
the
you know
day, I
what?
see
It
a
is.
nice wall. It's like putting together a puzzle every morning.
It is. You know what? It is a. I wasn't sure how I would like the whole thing altogether because you don't know, right? You don't know.
Yeah,
It's something new. It's different. But the way I looked at it was like it's only like 3, 4 hours. Like, why does it really matter? But you're right. Like when I walk out of there and everything is totally faced all the way around, and someone hasn't friggin' pulled something out while I went into the back. And I do, and when I see that, I go over and I friggin'
Pull
whoop.
it out.
Yeah, I do,
There
and I'm
you
like,
go.
really? Did I just do that? But yeah, and you do. I look and you'll see the L, and I'll just be
Yeah.
like, yeah, man, that
You
looks
feel
good.
good, right?
Right?
Yeah,
But then I go into
totally.
other stores and I'm like, what the hell's this shit?
You can't look at a red
my
shelf anymore.
my wife like gave me a hard time today because I was out and we had to go to my Zares, and it was just a disaster. I'm like, oh my god, who takes care of this? And she starts roaring, just laughing. She's like, look at you. I'm
You'll
like,
never go to a
what?
grocery store again.
I know, right? Ever. Oh, it's hilarious. But no, I mean, it's good. It worked for me, so I'm extremely happy about it. And you're right. Is you do when you're done it, you feel like you've accomplished something, which is weird
Yeah,
because it's just merchandising, but it does.
yeah.
You feel good. You're like, okay, it's done. Everything's nice and neat and in its place.
If I could put somebody
I
on the
can.
truck and do the merchandising, I would. Believe me.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
That's kind of part of what's kind of the plan I had initially, but that's probably like my 5 year plan is to get off the truck, right?
Right, right.
So
See, like I've said this to you before. Like the what you do. Uh, I guess I kind of did it when I was doing papers and stuff that early morning out there and stuff like that. But I don't know if at this point in my life if I could even. Like I said, I'm lazy.
yeah,
I don't. If I could find another job, and don't take this the wrong way, but if I could find another job right now that paid the same or more for less hours, I'm afraid I might
well, I believe you. Why wouldn't you?
leave. Right? But I mean, it's just, and yeah, I can't. People that just keep going and going and going at something like that, I guess you do have to have a lot of respect for because I couldn't. I don't have this. Like I say to you, you're a bigger man, not just because you're taller than me, but you are like you can. I could never do that. I could,
Well, because it's don't forget it's my own business, right? It's my own
but
business.
still. I
It's
mean, I
like
guess that does help, right? Because like,
it's a challenge, right? So like it's challenges of trying to make it efficient and try to grow the business, and there's a lot of expectations put onto you by Canada Bread, so you kind of don't have a choice in the matter of kind of a lot of what you're doing. You kind of have to do if you want to.
if you want to
So,
be doing what you're doing,
well, yeah, if you want to, make the money that you're making. So, it's just kind of. I mean, look, I was a. I don't know. It's weird. I got into this. I'm a filmmaker.
I know that's what you were telling me, which I thought was amazing. I thought it
Yeah.
was ironic that the first person that I meet when I go into the business world again, as it were, to get a job, is someone who has a total experience in the things that I'm really
You're
interested in
interested.
doing right now.
Right?
I was just like, what the hell, really?
Yeah, it's true. I agree. Yeah, totally. I was like, when I heard you had like a YouTube channel, like, damn, that's awesome. That's like a bonus. I don't meet a lot of people like that. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I got into this like I sold out, I guess. Like I sold out my ideals. Like I thought I was I was gonna be happy if I had enough money. This is where I was like in my early 20s when I graduated and I started working. It's like if I could make enough money that at the end of my day working in the business doing like working camera or laying down track dolly track or something in the just working something just like a in something in the union in the what was it IATSE. I don't even remember the union number. I'm like so out of it. But if I can make enough money where I can do that at the end of my day, I have my pub where I go in. I can have a pint or two, say hi to the people every night, go home to my wife and kids. Small head. Like small expectations. I'd be happy with that. And for somehow, it just like I got in. I couldn't find work for a little while, and my uncle needed help. because he had a problem with his license or with his leg or something. He couldn't drive,
Right.
and I could drive. I could drive truck because my dad was in trucking. So it's like, all right, I'll drive for you. And like slowly, after working with him for like a month, he's like, yo, you can get your own route and you can start making $100,000 a year. And I was like, oh. Like it was years that I was like barely scraping by, barely making anything, just like I couldn't see where my career was going. And I was like, I could next year I can start making $100,000. I was like, all right, I'm in. And that was like the worst decision I ever made. It was a horrible decision because I was like, yeah, I'll put on a driver, it'll be like it's soft income coming in, and I'll be able to do other things, not just like working bread. And then I kind of started liking it, and it's like, I'll make some good money, and I'll be able to put away, and maybe I'll just go back into film, and, at least I'll have an income coming in while I'm still like pursuing my dreams or what have you. And it just, one thing leads to another, where the business has demands of you, and then you get married, and then you have kids, and you get a mortgage, and now it's just like,
Oh.
there's no film in this world. There's no way. There's no way. And now I'm like 10, 12 years out of it. That it evolves with the technology and with everything. Like filmmaking is very different today than it was back then. Right?
Big time.
So I wouldn't even I tried to stay in it for the first few years. I tried to read magazines and keep my ear to the ground and contact still with my friends from film school and stuff. This day I kind of have friends with them, but life happens and you just kind of lose contact somewhat. And mind you, a lot of my friends are still doing it, but I'm so I respect them so much for it. They're sticking through it, and they have it's cool, it's a great life. But for me, it's just nope. I went this route, and this is the way it is. I'm gonna be now. My thing is business and make money and make sure my kids are happy and I'll be able to go on vacation once or twice a year. And that's the things, save for retirement. And we're a regular workaday guy, you know what I mean? Regular, like all the other guys. The only difference is I'm asking these questions that you're asking because I can't help it. So I'm sitting on my truck, I'm listening to my podcast, and I'm thinking about what is the meaning of life and stuff like that, I can't turn that part of my brain off. It'd be great if I could, but I can't. I have the regular working day, schedule, but I ask these questions on top. And so for me to be able to sit here with you, on YouTube, on Skype, and talk about this stuff is such a bonus. It's such a great thing for me.
No, I mean, like I said, I think your whole, because you've told me a bit about, your past and how you got to where you're at. And I couldn't, like I said, I've said it to you before, I couldn't do it. There's no way.
There's no way. It's not,
I guess to look at it
happened. It's not
from a third person perspective, it's different. Like you say, it just happens, right? Life happens, and I get that because I did papers for 8 years. 8 years. Right? Because the money was good. Yeah. It was so good, right? And that's all I did. That was my life for that period. And the second the money started to go away, that's when for me it was just okay, this isn't gonna last forever.
Yeah, you got to.
What's next? So
that's
what's
uncomfortable,
next?
right?
Next,
you have a family,
Yeah.
It's comfortable to think about. Yeah.
No, right? So I don't know, but I knew once it was done, because I did end up having another job, which is I stopped because I injured my shoulder. And then literally until I started working for you, I spent 2 years just trying to figure out what I'm going to do. What do I want to do? And it brings you back to that, I was looking at it, I'm halfway there, right? So what am I going to do for this half? And I spent 2 years, doing Android boxes just to fill the gap.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was I knew I was never going to be, millions of dollars on Android boxes. It was just to make money. It was easy money, and but then when I realized, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. This is where I'm gonna proverbially put my flagpole in. I was like, I need to make my. I've tried a lot of businesses; they haven't all worked. But I knew that if I was gonna make a business work, I had to make the business wrap around my life. You know what I mean? Not where like I have this job and then the family, and then I had to have something that would allow the business to be part of everything, right? So that I could spend most of my time doing that, but not have it destroy everything else.
Okay.
Because I did that in the past. I put all my eggs in one basket and pretty much lost most of it.
Yeah, that's scary, man. That's
Right?
scary. Yeah.
So I knew if I did it this time, it would have to be something that I could concentrate all my energy on, still be around the family, which is easy because I'm here, they're here,
Right.
and something that would make money. But the problem is with this, it wasn't going to make money anytime soon. So then I had to take that into consideration. So that meant, well, I definitely have to find a job.
You're right.
Right? But I mean, all in all, I don't think there's anything else now, especially. And I mean, life always changes, so I'll never know until I get there. But I don't think there's anything else I'd want to do. I mean, even
That's
if I
awesome.
stayed at, you know, I think I have 13 subscribers or 14. Even if I stayed at that for the next 2 years, I don't think I'd stop doing this. Just because I enjoy
Awesome.
it so much.
That's
And the vloggy things for me, that's fucking therapy, man.
awesome.
I
Yeah.
get on there and I'll talk about updates on what's going on in the shows and how bad things are going, and I make light of it. And not that things going bad. It's just it's a long process, and I don't think most people understand how long the process really is unless you're famous, unless you have that viral video. But to do it this way, it's just gonna take time. And man, I'll tell you, I just lost what I was gonna say. Totally fucking disappeared. I know what that means. I know what that means. That means I need one of
You
these.
take a hit.
Yeah, man. Exactly. I lost thought. But no,
Focus.
long story short, this is it. I mean, even if it doesn't make me money, there's no reason why I still can't do it. You know what I mean? Even if it was just dropped to like something where I did one thing a week. Because yeah, it's therapeutic. I can bitch about things, and right now
Yeah.
nobody can pretty much say
Well, like
whatever the hell I
when you
want.
when you say things out loud, and usually you're all in your head, right? Like you're a guy. I think you're a thinker kind of person. You just like to think shit, just a little bit, right? So like you're in your head, you're like, whatever I'm thinking is genius and rational, right?
Yeah.
But as soon
You,
as you
you,
say it
you say
and you
that
hear
like someone
yourself,
who knows where I'm coming from.
right, I totally do. That happens a lot. Just ask my wife. I was like, oh, I got this argument. And I started saying my stuff, and she would like give me the look, and it was like, no, wait, no. That wasn't, no. That wasn't right. Damn. So yeah,
Sounds
you're
so
right.
much better up here.
Having a vlog and saying that stuff out loud, it's like, it is therapeutic. You get to articulate your brain farts,
Yeah, yeah, very much so. Yeah,
right?
and I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I really do because it the vloggy thing for me. If there's anything that I really want people to watch on my channel, it's this show without a name. And so I was thinking
Okay.
because so I was thinking it's just to get people thinking about and hopefully commenting on the stuff that I'm talking about just to build the conversation. And same with
Let me
this.
ask you: do you have like a scheduled time for this? So I was thinking, or is it like you'll come up with something, you're like, oh shit, I gotta put that in, and you'll go to, and you can't wait to get home so you can go put it on. So I was thinking, or do you have like no, Mondays and Thursdays is so I was thinking. How do you do it?
The way I do it is I anything that I think about that I'm like, oh my god, that, and I really put thought into it gets written down, right? And I have like these little notepads all over the place,
Yeah.
right? and there's one there and there's one over there, right? So if I'm like, and I'll write down on the top, so I was, and then I'll write whatever it is about it, and then I'll let them build up. And then when I get
Okay.
a couple of, because I only do one of those a week, so what I'll do is I'll pick one, and then I'll try to take, a couple hours, 2 or 3 days a week, and just kind of focus on it and research it a bit and really refine my thoughts on it. Because if you watch them, the first two are kind of, you can feel that I really just kind of did it off the cuff, just like
Yeah.
what was really just raw in my head. And I watched it, I was like, I need to work on this. I need to make it a little more polished. And now I'm that's what I'm starting to do. I've decided, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I got to put it into a schedule, like you're saying. So any thoughts, they go down. So I was, and then if I think it's something worthy of it, it goes in the hopper. And then when it comes out, I'm like, hey, like my next one tomorrow will be on marijuana. And you would think that would have been one of my first ones, right? But there was some research I wanted to do on it because I look at marijuana different now that it's legal than I did before, which is
Okay.
weird. And
Yeah.
the reason I do now is because once it turned legal, there was a bunch of information that came out that I really wasn't privy to, right? Like how marijuana can affect youth, right?
Yeah.
And I fought against that for years because I smoked when I was a teenager,
Yeah.
heavily. And I think I'm fine, I hope. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm
Well, who
not. I
knows,
just
man?
don't notice.
You're probably supposed to be right now in Sputnik or something.
Who knows,
You
right?
know,
Maybe I just don't.
you could be
Right?
an astronaut, bro.
You know,
Working on the
right?
Canada arm.
Exactly. Maybe.
Working under Elon Musk.
I just screwed myself. Damn you, marijuana. But no. And so when I started researching into it, I did find out that like if you have schizophrenia or if it's in you and there's
Yeah.
a chance you will have it when you get older, I
Yeah.
guess smoking weed can affect you. It can
Yeah.
make that come out faster,
Yeah. That was a
right?
good episode. I heard that episode. That was a good episode of
Right? And I was like, are you so then what do? I gotta check into this shit, right?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's true. It seems to be like it's a little more individual genetics on how it's going to affect you. So what's good for me isn't
Not
necessarily good
necessarily.
for you or
Right.
him or her, even though it seems to be great for the majority. And I was like, I never
You
thought
just gotta
that.
be. You gotta be careful with it, right? Like every person. Like I love to smoke weed. Okay, I won't say that. I used to love to smoke weed. I smoked I smoked a lot of weed. I don't really smoke anymore because now I think it makes me a little paranoid. But what it always did though, it wasn't social. It wasn't a social drug for me. So I couldn't really smoke with people because as soon as I start smoking weed, I get way, way in my head that I can't. Like the brain is going too fast for my mouth. So I couldn't get the thoughts out fast enough. And by the time I would get the whatever I was saying, sounded like gibberish. Like it just wasn't. There wasn't a connect between the brain and the mouth. And so and especially when people are, it didn't work. It didn't really work for me. But see, that's me. And I don't really. There's like some people that are like that. I've talked to that's like, yeah, like it doesn't. But most people is like, why? I don't get it. Like for them, it's just a total social, relaxes them, makes them totally, relatable to other people, and it makes them a lot more calm, and especially in social situations. For me,
Yeah.
it was the opposite because I guess just the way my brain functions is a little different. So, and that's just one way it's different for me. So
Yeah.
for other people, especially like if maybe they are a little bit more on the schizophrenic, not necessarily complete schizophrenic, but like a little bit more tweaked.
Yeah.
It might, ramp that part
Well, yeah,
way up
the
and
paranoia,
create a
right?
problem that wasn't necessarily there, or a problem that was maybe manageable, but now through the drug, it's like, we were at your paranoid schizophrenic level was at a 3, and now you've been smoking weed, and now it's at an 8, and now it's
Right.
a problem, and
Yeah.
that's the problem for you, a problem for everybody around you.
Exactly. No, for sure, right? And I guess
Yeah.
one of the problems with it is that once you hit that 8 because of it, you don't come back down.
Yeah.
Right? That
Yeah.
paranoia level is there because
Yeah.
it activated that thing in you, right?
Yeah.
And to me,
Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
That blew me away because, like I said, I've literally smoked weed since I was like 14.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember a point in my life where I can think of like a couple times in my life where I didn't. Like when I went to become a truck driver, right? I quit because you
Yeah.
have to be able to
Yeah.
do it clean. Um, and yeah, so I did that for then, and then, but I mean, just for me, I use it for a lot of reasons. One, so I don't kill my children. No.
If that only did that for me, believe me, I'd be on it all the time.
No, but for me, I do use it for pain in my shoulder. I find that helps me
Yeah.
manage it really, really well. But also because I find that when I'm not smoking, I'm kind of the opposite of you. My brain is moving really, really quickly, and I can't articulate.
Ah, interesting.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
And but the thing is I get aggressive.
When you're not high,
Mm.
you get aggressive.
Now,
Huh.
it takes a while. It has to be, a couple months,
Yeah.
but I start having very negative thoughts,
Yeah, that's not good.
right?
That's not
Right?
productive.
Well, in my first show without a name with Tiffany, I mentioned it too, where like um, I distinctly remember one time seeing somebody who was fat, and I'm not the skinniest guy, and thinking to myself, "Look at that fat bastard," and then being like, "Why the fuck did I just say that?" You know? And I never get thoughts like that when I'm smoking.
Hmm. Right. Right.
But when I'm not, my brain can go, and I find I'm short fused.
Yeah.
I'm aggressive, right? But I've learned to use weed, and I'm chill, and I'm happy all the time, and
I mean, I get super passive when I'm high. Like, I don't get aggressive at all. I don't fucking move. I like to sit there and like watch a movie and just stay in my brain. Like I'll live in my brain and I'm happy. So it's like a happy place to be. But I can't get out of it. So.
Oh, I love my marijuana, but I mean, it's like anything.
Bro, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
It's 3 o'clock.
Oh yeah, is it? Fuck. Look at
I
that.
know. I didn't think it was gonna like. I thought like, dude, I have nothing to say. I don't know what we're gonna talk about. But
I
like,
told you, don't
like,
even
how
worry
long's it
about
been?
it.
It's been like at least over an hour, right? Like it's been like
Well, we started like
this is how it
1:30 or
happens. This
something,
is how you get a 4 hour fucking podcast,
right?
right? You just start talking.
I know, it's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, man. Hey, listen, if you got to cut it, we can cut it.
Yeah, I kind of do. I do.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
still
cool.
got other
Listen,
work to do.
I say to everybody else, we can do this more than once. I have no issue. I will
All
have
right.
the same person on 50 times. I don't care.
Yeah. The
But
content
no.
is the key. You need to have the content. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
man.
Well, I'm down
For
to do it
sure.
again. Got
Listen.
a lot of other stupid shit to talk about.
Yeah, no, exactly, right? So
Yeah.
I'm down with that. But all right, well, I will we'll call this an end for today. We'll say part 2 to be soon.
All right. To be determined. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
Right on, right on.
And yeah, we'll end this. So what I'm gonna do is I'll hang up with you so I can do the exit, extro, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And then I'll give
Okay.
you a call back.
All right, buddy. Sounds
All right,
good.
man. We'll talk to you in a
All
minute.
right. Take
All right,
care.
man. Bye.
All right. All the best.
Thanks.
All right, man.
All right. Well, that went crazy fast and it was abrupt end, but we both have things to do. So I hope you enjoyed it. I know we talked about a lot of stuff. I did have a lot of fun. So Ilaan, thank you so much for being on. And yeah, guys, I hope we get to do another one of these soon. So if you liked what you see, hit that like button. If you're new to our channel, please hit subscribe and then hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll always know when we're uploading new stuff. And yeah, you know how I like to end it. We will catch you on the flip flop.